Um, what's up, y'all? So, if you tell by the title, it's time to make a change. When it's time to make a change. Um, I decided today that tomorrow is going to be my 30-day challenge of changing things in my own personal life as far as my daily regimen, right? And, and I've been here before, and the thing about it is you can't do the same thing and expect a different result. And sometimes when you're doing the same thing, the regimen of it, though the regimen is good, if you keep doing exactly the same thing over and over again, you're going to get stagnant even though you're regimented. So that's part of the aspect of, excuse me, when it's time to make a change. Because taking in consideration, like I have a normal workout routine, right? But I'm so used to it, I have no gains. I'm not going to have any gains in what I'm doing because I'm so accustomed to doing it. My body's so accustomed to doing it. So it's time to make a change, right? And now a lot of people, we get to the same spot where, you know what? If something feels different, normally what feels different is you're not challenging yourself. You're not stretching yourself out. You're not, your ability to adapt and adjust and create becomes dormant, right? And that's one thing that comfort brings sometimes is being dormant. You don't really you're not flexible. You're not as flexible as you used to be. And I look at it now like, okay, things have to change. There are things that I want to do, and some people don't even understand that there comes a point. Ema, thanks, fam. You know, uh-oh, the families of dysfunction. Yeah, well, we are. I cannot lie about that. you know, but this is where we're at, where it's I've seen it far too often where it's time to I feel the change. Like I personally sat back years ago and I got bigger and stronger. And then I said, look, I need to lose the weight. So I've lost the weight. I've lost the mass. But I was like, I gotta change, I'm gonna have to change my body after that. And I changed my body 2 times, now I gotta change it the third time. It was all necessarily a plan, but this took a couple of years, 3 years. And but that's just as far as body and all that. Um, the one thing I can say, I have other things that I realize it's time to change it because you go to work, come home, go to work, do podcasts, go to work, podcast. My regimen is workout, wake up, workout, work, podcast, eat, bang. And it's cool for me as far as a regimen, but in all honesty, this is getting me nowhere. You know what I'm saying? Like now I like the hobbies. Don't get it twisted. So I'm gonna continue having this as a hobby, but I've learned that there's times to change it. So the subject matter might change because I'm tired of talking about certain things. And if people have been on my channel long enough, they've noticed that I don't try to talk about the exact same thing over and over and over again. I try to purposely throw something else in there because it gets monotonous. And what I've noticed, time is, what's up, Dondre? Appreciate you. Thank you. What I've noticed is people are at the same spot too, but a lot of people don't want to say what it is. Sometimes we're so comfortable that it's hard Hey, Naima, I said, we're so comfortable that it's hard. The big difficulty is breaking the monotony, is breaking the regimen, is breaking the schedule, is breaking the routine. That part, you know, it's all good, cynical. That part lets you know it's time to make a change. Because when you're afraid to do something different than what you've been doing, that means you got stuck. And sometimes, it's understandable, if you're doing something and it works for you and it's working for you, you keep doing it. But that's the thing about, if you keep doing it, it's gonna get old. You're gonna have to find uh, avenues and different ways to keep your passion intact. And that's also a part of what I'm talking about today is, you can lose your passion for something because you keep doing the same thing over and over and over again. There's nothing, there's no live challenge in a way. And I started to realize this. Twerk, what's happening? Thanks, fam. Family is central. It's all love to you too. You know, it's one of those things where I'm looking at society and I'm thinking to myself, like, you know, I need to stop worrying about quote unquote society, because society is not going to change unless it's forced. The question is, can you force yourself to change? And one of the things about doing something different is, will you change your focus and you focus on something, something else is going to lack. What's up, David? Something else is going to lack. Like, something is going to fall to the wayside. And what happens when things fall to the wayside is you get uncomfortable not knowing if you could get back on that horse. You know what I'm saying? If you can get back on that bicycle and ride it. And now I understand when people talk about when people who are work out talk about muscle confusion, where you don't do the same things over and over and over again. You do different things. And the fact that you have to do that in life, because if you don't do different things in life, you're gonna constantly, you're gonna dig yourself a deeper hole of work, 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 weekend, work, 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 weekend, work, 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 weekend, work, 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 vacation, work, 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 weekend, work, 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 weekend. And you're not throwing anything in the mix to make your life worthwhile. You're not throwing anything substantial in the mix. And now, personally, I'm at a point where, like I said in the beginning, I'm a challenge. The next 30 days, I'm doing things, I'm just scrapping everything. I'm doing things completely different. You know, um, my diet, and I have a pretty decent diet. Uh, I'm gonna scrap that sucker. Do something completely different. You know, uh, when it comes to my other goals and aspirations, I'm going to take my time and designate time out of my day to do exactly that. I don't care if I don't care if I'm doing horrible at it or doing great at it. You know, it's all good. Don't even worry about it. They're gonna catch the replay if it does, cynical. At this point in life, it's like you got to do something different. And I've been at that personally, where I've been at a place where I would think to myself, you got to get mad. You got to get upset. You got to be sick and tired of being sick and tired to make a positive, to not even a positive move, just a change in general. Just to say, look, I'm not, I'm doing something different. I ain't doing this no more. I'm doing this. I'm focusing my time in this. I'm focusing my efforts in this. I'm going 10 toes down in this. And for me, it's like, man, I can tell that happens in other people's. I can see it. I can feel it. But what I've noticed over time is the older you get tired of seeing it. The older you get tired of feeling it. Man, what's up, Paul? YouTube on them shenanigans. It is what it is, man. You know, I There's a lot going on with this platform that just happens. You know, that's why for the longest I've told you I don't even per se care because YouTube's platform it does all kinds of things. If I can be perfectly honest with y'all for a second, YouTube has a habit of making sure uh, certain people get out there and certain people don't. I've been on that list forever and a day. I don't necessarily care, but now it's like I said, I'm gonna do things a little bit differently. Um, it's time to do something differently and talk about different things and act on different things. And I'm not gonna complain about YouTube because that's what YouTube was set up for. I hate to say this, it's a platform that white people built, white people made, and white people censor most black people. White people make sure most black people don't become successful if it's their platform. This is no different. This is no different. So it's what it is. I get that, David. That's what happens. But getting back to the title of this is, you know, I was listening to ironically Gucci Man. Gucci, he said, he's gonna take a little bit of time out of this day to do what other people aren't doing. And I thought about that. And that in itself made me say, you know what? I gotta do that too. I gotta do that differently. What's up, Sister George? You know, you know, uh cynical. I don't think so. I don't think so. I like no, I've done thousands of videos. And to be perfectly honest, the reason I do videos the way I'm doing it now with these streams is because I got tired of doing 1,000, like 1,500 videos in a year. So I don't want to make more videos to upload for a while. I'm just like, yeah, I'm kind of tired of that. So, but in essence, and plus it takes too much time now. I want to focus my time on a few other things to get my life in a different direction. Like I said before, previously, my younger cousin got murdered, months ago. My younger cousin was a producer. He made music, and as a to pay respect to him, I wanted to do something just to use his stuff. You get what I'm saying? What's up, Noble? And I haven't done that. I've been doing this. So now I gotta make sure I put time aside to do that. You know, and I still do this, but I gotta do that. Like that's what it's gonna be. Um, so I've learned in my own way that what, sometimes it's time. When it's time to make a change, you got to make a change because you have to make a change for the better of yourself. Like the world changes, people evolve. You know, time keeps moving forward, and if you don't change and evolve, then you're just gonna stay in the same place and get stuck in that moment of day in history. I'm looking at myself and like, I'm gonna change this in these 30 days. 30 days from now, I'm gonna change, how I my quote unquote image in a sense. You know, it's time to make changes just for change sake in a sense. And the reason I say change for change sake is because we keep talking about having um this black people coming up in the world, Well, we can't come up doing the same things. We can't constantly come up. We can't even we even have to change the way we approach racism. We have to change the way we approach finance. We have to change the way that we approach family. We have to change the way that we approach our mental and physical health. All the things that we've done that has been unsuccessful is for a good reason. What's up, Mike? It's because in some ways we got comfortable, in some ways, you know, we were used to be we were used as a canary in the coal mine to be for somebody in ahead of the curve while somebody else was able to ride the wave. We got to be ahead of the wave. We got to be ahead of the curve and the wave and make our own different things. And to do that, you got to change some things. You got to be able to look at your past, your present, and your future. What's up, Renaissance? You know, and be willing to say, okay, this is who I am. This is where I am. This is what I've been doing good. This is what I've been doing bad. And can I might to do better, do I have to scrap everything? If I want to do better, I'm gonna have to get rid of all of the bad, and I might have to get rid of half of the good or all of the good and do something completely different. And I crack up because I don't think some of us are willing to do something completely different. And the irony of it is sometimes, and I've noticed this in my own life, where sometimes you don't want to make a change because you're uncertain about the results. See, if you're doing the same thing, you're getting the same results. So guess what? You know what's coming. But if you do something different, you don't know if you're going to get a different result. And what I mean by a different result that pans out better than the result that you're accustomed to. So now we're dealing, you deal with that part is, am I going to be better off making this change, or am I going to be worse off? And now it's like you're going to have to see. You're going to have to take that chance and see. And part of what I've been thinking about in general is, when it's time to make a change, you got to be willing to lose. What's up, Deep End? You know, absolutely. Absolutely. That's one thing we can't buy still. Absolutely. He said, just do it. You know, I've been playing around personally with diet and workout and this and that and the third. I tried to go jogging today. My niece said, no, thank you. But like, I'm gonna say where I came into realization with this. So I work out normally 7 days a week. One day I jog like 4 miles. The other day I do like a 2 hour workout, full body. Now, as far as changing my body type, I absolutely did that. I absolutely did that. But I'm at a point where I'm in shape, but it doesn't necessarily show it because my body's so accustomed to it. Like I can tell you 90% of people that I work out with cannot do my workout. They cannot. It's too strenuous. It's too much going on. But now it's like, oh, and now I'm at a point where, okay, I need to completely change again. Because now I'm doing I'm doing nothing while I'm doing something. You get what I'm saying? There's absolutely I don't get sore, I don't get tired, I don't get I don't lose weight or gain weight. My body is just exactly the same. Some days it changes. What's up, Rasta? What's happening? And to get a different result, now I got to do something, a whole nother thing. And now I got to get in shape in a whole different way to be out of shape. To do things that man, oh my God, I'm sore everywhere because I haven't used those muscles and or done that again. That's the same thing. When I was talking about paying respects to my younger cousin, I haven't used my mind to create like that musically in years. I've dabbled. Like I did something maybe a month ago, 2 months ago, something like that. And it's like riding a bike, but it's not necessarily like riding a bike. So now you got to change it. I still haven't written the second book I was supposed to write. It's like it's time to make a change. What up, brother? And I'm starting to look at myself and life and starting to say, you know what? Now I see what goes on. Now I see how people feel. Now I see what people mean by, you get old, you get grown, you get tired. And this goes out to shout out to my auntie Idabelle who passed away not yesterday, but the day before. And the reason I say that is because my aunt died at 95. She's actually my great great aunt. But she went back to school in her late 40s, early 50s. First, yeah, I get you. I get you, Ace. She went to school in her late 40s, early 50s to get her bachelor's. Then she got her master's, and then she became a professor. She had a whole life prior to 45 that was completely different from the life she had from 45 to 95. And that was based on the premise that she wanted to be something different. She wanted to do something different, you know. And to do that, you gotta, make a change. And you gotta, deal with the ramifications of that change. You gotta go all in, all or nothing. And, you know, appreciate that, Paul. And as I think about all this stuff, like 2020 has been a heck of a year. Like, families pass, friends pass. Um, things have, you see how blessed you are in life, and you see how cursed life is. What? Let me slow down and get into this because this is part of the conversation. Some of us have or believe in generational curses or and generational quote unquote blessings and legacies and what we're going to do for the next generation. And one of the things I've been thinking about is I'm going to have to make a change in my life because I the curse some of the quote unquote generational curses of finance and and issue and with some people it might be anger or alcoholism or drugs or bad decision making. Or I've seen how the things play out. What's up, Maury? What up? And I realize some of us don't understand the ramifications of not making a change to change the trajectory of the generations that come after you. You know, some people I've seen uh, people who are in their 60s who they came from a certain environment, 60s, 70s, 80s. They came from a certain environment. And they fought to not repeat the same mistakes that their parents made. But their children made those very same mistakes. Because though they thought they changed their ways, or they didn't repeat their parents' ways. What they didn't do was get their children out of the atmosphere that was conducive to their parents having those ways. So this is what I mean. Like, you can have a person who, I come from a family who has a person who had multiple kids by multiple different people. And then you get the next generation, they don't do that. But then their kids do all of that because they're still in the same neighborhood, the same environment, the same family practices, the same friends practices, you know, the same ideologies. So just because one person didn't do it, you left the whole crock pot open for the same seasoning to be put in the pot anyways. So now that happened. I've seen this the one generation got it together, they pass it on to the next generation, they blow it, then their kids got it to because they had nothing to start with because their parents blew it, they got it together, and now you see their children blowing it. So what I mean by, looking at it's time, when it's time to make a change, is it's time to say, you know what? I'm not going to let us go one step forward, one step back, one step forward. I'm gonna skip. I'm taking this whole situation out of tearing this whole shit out of the frame, and we're gonna do something completely different. Completely different. I see that. I see the same situation um, that my parents went through with me and with my son and his mother. So now I gotta figure out a way. Okay, I can't have him in the same situation where he gets with somebody, and now you're in a quote unquote battle for control with a kid in the middle. You know what I'm saying? And the kid gets nothing out of the battle, and the battle is an ego battle that really has no bearing on anything. And then two adults realize how stupid it was when the kid becomes an adult, and now the kid like, man, forget both of y'all. You know what I'm saying? That's when you realize it's time to make a change. Yeah, yeah, you could be blocking your own success by not changing. Absolutely. Absolutely. And one of the things is, if something doesn't work, it doesn't work. It doesn't. Like, why I've said for numerous years, I like YouTube as a hobby, as a way to express myself in a sense. But this is not a format that I can actually make six figures at. I've been on this thing for, I don't know, 9 years. If I ain't got 100,000 subscribers now and 200,000, it ain't for me. People get on here, they go live, boom, they blow up. I didn't blow up. I don't trip about that. It's not a big deal. But I know I need to do something else to quote unquote blow up in life other than YouTube. I've been got that. But some of us don't realize, I'm gonna keep plugging and plugging and plugging away. That's cool, but do something that actually works. If you're looking for success, and you have to do something that actually reciprocates success when you put in the work. So that's one of the other things. That's when it's time to make a change in life, when it comes to work, when it comes to effort, when it comes to people, when it comes to relationships. Uh, if you're not getting back what you're putting into something, you got to do something different. You feel me? You got to do something completely different. It's not working. Now I know people tell you, "Oh man, if you keep chipping away, you keep chipping away, something gonna happen." Yeah, yeah, that's true. But nobody can tell you the time limit, right? Cat Williams was chipping away at comedy for 20 years before he broke, before he became famous, right? So that was he had to go through that time span, right? But other people messed around and did something for five, catch me outside, chick. You're like, what? How the fuck did that happen, right? that things like that happen. So life is funny like that. You don't know what's going to happen for you, but the one thing I do know, if you have a passion for something, don't stop that. If you got a passion for something, don't stop doing that. But you might have to change the other things in your life that you don't have a passion for that are not benefiting you, right? And I get to that point in life where I start thinking about it. Like, I'm at that point where it's like, what am I doing? What am I doing with my time? What am I doing with the food I'm eating? What am I doing with my relationships? What am I doing with my goal, with my dreams? Because there's a difference between a dream and a goal. Sometimes you got to change the idea that, do you have a dream that you're pursuing, or do you have a goal that you're pursuing? You know, if it's yeah, I mean, in the end, yeah, definitely. But you know, um, you got to take that step. That's part of the thing. If something is truly your passion, you got to take that step out. Take a step out on quote unquote faith. But what I've gotten and what I've learned is that over time, people are afraid of the change. People are afraid of the new. Like, when I think about, and I've talked about this before, like, guys don't want to get married. Women don't want to get married either. That's a that's a change to being committed to one person and y'all working together and quote unquote building a family or building some stability together. That's a change that people aren't willing to take. And too many people have lost because it wasn't a it wasn't a change that people a decision that people made going going fully into. That's the way I say it. If you get on one knee and propose to somebody that you want them to marry you, then if you ask for that, you ask for it. Ask for everything that goes along with it. If you've been wanting to get proposed to and wanting to be married, then you said yes to it. That means, you know, you said yes to everything that goes along with it. But a lot of us, we're not willing to do that. Now, I don't know why um, this comes about. The seasons change, people change, places change, but we might have to. I've learned I got to change the way that I reflect personally. Normally things happen. I chill out. Uh, Still waiting on that cooking segment. Man, I can't be giving y'all the family recipes, Sean. Y'all motherfuckers, that no player. You know, y'all. What you got in that rub? What you got in there? What is that? No, no. You know, but I might do y'all give you the New Orleans basic. I might give y'all the New Orleans basic. This is the basic materials. I got some extra stuff in there. But I might do that. I've been thinking about that also. I'm playing around, but I've been thinking about that. But this is I've noticed, if I change the way I sit down and reflect on things, it changes my approach to new things coming in life. And what I mean by that is, I don't get angry about things I used to get angry about. I don't get um, as invested in some of the things that triggered me as I once did, because it was you realize some things are pointless. Some things that you get triggered about are stupid things to be triggered about in the first place. And now, if I don't change the way I deal with the what's up, Roger? If I don't change the way that I deal with adversity in life, then how are people coming after me gonna going to evolve from that adversity? You know, I look at life sometimes as trial and error, in the sense of we know what's right and wrong, but you don't know what works and you don't know what doesn't work. It's long little habitual line steppers. The sister George, one of the bad cops, you know. But I don't see that the vast majority of people are willing and able to throw it all to scrap it. Football season is about to start in the next, what, 30 minutes. And one thing that we look at in sports is you can have a team that's winning and doing good things, and they'll just blow it up. And you're like, why? Because they feel like this is the farthest this team can go. Now, half of the time it's stupid, because it's not the farthest the team could go. It's just you ain't want to pay nobody. What's up, Mr. E? Yeah. you know, you don't want to, but other times you realize, man, you're gonna have to change this whole situation. You know, to change a culture in a place, you gotta change the personnel. And to change the personnel, sometimes you got to change the front office. And sometimes to change the culture, you got to change the damn owner, because, you know, it's just not going to work. And sometimes I've looked at life like, okay, when is it time to make that change? As far as when am I going to, would I, and this might sound weird, would I draft myself? You know, if I want, my team to win in life, would I draft myself? Would I say, oh, the number one pick to right the ship is me? Or would I look at myself objectively and say, you're not the number one pick. You're not the number one pick. You know, man, appreciate that, Mr. E. And that's one of the things personally, you got to change. And I know I have to change is for one, I'm going to do this on both sides. If you're a person who doesn't love yourself, it's time to make a change and love yourself. It's time to actually speak positivity into yourself. It's time to say, hey, you can do this. You can be great. You can accomplish these things. Don't think you're not good enough or you're not smart enough. You are. Sometimes it's time to make a change if you beat yourself down to the point where you don't accomplish anything because you got in your own way. It's time to make a change when you do that. Now on the other side, when you arrogant, you got to actually look at yourself constructive. You got to listen. I said I'm the one. I said I'm the ish or whatever, but it ain't working out like I'm the ish. So maybe I need to go ahead, take a step back, look at this tape, and see what I'm actually doing wrong. You know what I'm saying? And humility, like when you arrogant, humility is a definite change. Like, let me ask questions. Let me learn a bit. Let me put myself on the chopping block. Let me, you know, actually take somebody's advice for once, and let me actually follow through on their advice for once, and let me actually uh, uh, allow myself to get constructively criticized without losing it. You know, and I think that's a big thing. Some of us can't have a hard time with that. For whatever reason that is. You know, um, another thing, and this is, I've talked about being getting comfortable and outside of your comfort zone. Um, one of the things that needs to be changed is it's time to get your hands dirty doing things that you pay other people to do. I learned that about myself personally. I was like, sometimes it makes you feel better as a person when you actually get your hands in the mud and you do the things like don't like okay. I talked about, like if something happens to my roof, I get on it. If something happens to my cars, normally if I got the tools, I'll fix it. You know what I'm saying? I still do my own yard and all that other stuff. But it's time to get to trading and learning the stock market, right? You got to get your hands dirty. You got to learn your trial and error from there. You got to learn. Thanks, Counselor Murray. You got to learn. Appreciate you, fam. Hope you're doing well. You got to learn to put I don't give a damn, 5, 10, 50, 100, $500 into the stock market, and you got to see if you can get a return on that money. Appreciate it, Lee. What's happening? You know, thank you. That's when it's time to make a change. Oh, I got a 401k I invest. I got all that too. But I know it's time to, and I've done the exchange before. And I remember when I was young, I was like, man, if I could only do this like on a smartphone and get it done, I could make a lot of moves. And the crazy part about it is that the smartphone stuff came, and then I was like, oh man, you know what? I'm gonna get to it. And I didn't get to it. And so, but if you want to learn how to do things differently, you got to be able to put that money in the mix, right? And I realize, we say we want to make changes, but how are you willing to make a change to have multiple streams of income? See, we don't teach we want to teach our kids entrepreneurship, but we're not telling them. We're telling people to be a hustler, but we're not telling them to have multiple streams of income. We're telling them, hey, find a lick that worked for you and hit that lick over and over again until it and bleed that lick dry. But we're not telling them, okay, use that to do this, to do this, to do this. You could use some of that to do this, do this. Have money coming in from 5 to 10 different places, right? And to do that, you got to change the way you think. And it's hard. I'm not even going to lie. It's hard to change the way you think about finance in America because, especially in our community, a lot of times people are in such dire straits or in need of so much help, or you might be in need of help, or you're robbing Peter to pay Paul, as they used to say, that you can't put in the time to say, what's up, health? Like, you can't put in the time to say, you know what? I'm gonna just put $5 over here. I'm gonna put $10 over here. You know what? That money I was gonna go to McDonald's with, I'm not gonna take. I'm gonna use that money to do this, that, and the third. It's hard to make that change. It's hard to make, but you have to make that change because one of the things I look at is the older you get, you start seeing the people separate who made the necessary changes to grow in life and the people who didn't. You know what I'm saying? And you see how they separate. And you see, I've seen people in their 50s and 60s who are buying something for the first time to make them feel important. And some of those people earned it, and I wish them all the best. But other people have just been spinning their wheels their whole life, and they need something to make them feel better. And that's because they never changed living for the moment. They never delayed gratification, and I think that becomes a unnecessary, a sad scenario. But I'm gonna leave it at that right here because I got to do a few things. Like I said, I got to make some changes, so I got to get out of here and go take a walk and go cook something healthy. And I'm going to bed by 9 o'clock because I got to sleep better. So catch y'all on the next one. Peace, y'all.